Developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto Vice City is an action-adventure game that was first released in 2002 that was widely praised and received well. And then it received a remaster in 2021 that was also received well, with some comments stating the remaster didn't do the game justice and felt disrespectful. The game is set in Vice City, with the main protagonist being Tommy Vercetti, who served 15 years in prison for murder and is set to be released. It made the game more enjoyable with Tommy having a voice to him and a personality. Not that Claude isn't good either, it just felt more immersive to me. Anyway, it is the 4th main game in the GTA series and the 6th entry to GTA overall. This game was a lot of fun, but before I give my say on the story, let's get into the story of GTA Vice City. It's 1986. Tommy Vercetti is set to be released from prison, having served 15 years for murder. The Forelli crime family, more specifically Sonny Forelli, isn't too happy about this news as he thinks Tommy is bad for business. However, he sees this as an opportunity, seeing as Vice City is a gold mine for business, aka drugs. He wants a slice of the action while the other crime families and organized crime syndicates are enjoying their rewards. He talks about getting Ken Rosenberg involved, their lawyer, to be alongside Tommy while he gets given cash to get some of the good stuff for Sonny, and then come take it later on. A meetup happens, but it goes south and their deal gets ambushed. Only Tommy and Ken survive. Sonny calls Tommy to check in on him, and Tommy reveals that they were ambushed and he lost the money for Sonny. Sonny understandably loses his shit but trusts Tommy to get him the money back. So Tommy heads over to Ken's office to discuss the next set of plans to figure out what the hell happened and who was involved. Ken mentions a Colonel Juan Garcia Cortez and says that he's holding a yacht party with the city's biggest players. Meeting Cortez, Tommy tells him he wants the merchandise back. Cortez is aware of what happened and has started his own investigation. Then he introduces Tommy to his daughter Mercedes, who he gets to show Tommy around. Tommy is then introduced to a few notable guests before he's introduced to a Ricardo Diaz, who's known for his coke. Then Mercedes has Tommy take her to the strip club to avoid Diaz. Tommy goes back to Ken and says he basically got nowhere and needs a new lead from the streets. Ken then mentions a Kent Paul who's got ties to the music industry and that he's the guy when it comes to coke. Tommy confronts Kent Paul, who tells us about a chef who deals out of his kitchen nearby. Tommy deals with him before he's confronted by Lance Vance until the dead chef's boys come out with meat cleavers and Lance throws us a gun and the other chefs are taken care of. Ken starts freaking out because a member of the Forellis is on trial for fraud and looking at 5 years and basically can't intimidate a jury, so Tommy goes and handles it. Sonny gives Tommy a call to check in on him and asks him what he's doing and if he's got his money. Of course he says no and says not to worry, but of course Sonny is shaking in his boots. Ken introduces Tommy to Avery Carrington, who is a fellow businessman and has a proposition. Protection for Ken and Tommy if he helps Avery out. Avery needs a company to get out of the plot of land the business sits on as he wants it, so Tommy starts a fight with other rioters to get into the compound to destroy the trucks inside. Tommy receives a call from Cortez and tells him that he's getting to the bottom of the ambush business deal and to go see him if he wants to talk more privately. Tommy meets with him and he says the cause of the ambush is due to someone leaking information that he used to trust. He asks Tommy to go take care of the leaker. Tommy definitely had some fun with this one, having a chainsaw. Tommy goes back to Cortez and gets him to meet with a courier who has obtained some technology for him while he continues to look into the drug deal ambush situation. Upon meeting with the courier, it seems the cops knew about the meetup prior and were waiting, which spooked the courier and Tommy chased him down and made him give him the package one way or another. Chopping it up with Cortez, he asks Tommy for help to make sure Diaz is all good with the business deal that's going down and says he's left us some protection in the multi-story car park. Upon arriving there, Tommy collects the protection and gets pulled up on by Lance. Tommy tells him instead of shadowing him around everywhere, to come with him and see if he's of any use. Tommy and Lance meet Diaz, and they both head to the vantage point on the rooftop of the buildings and oversee the deal and make sure that things go smoothly. Until they of course don't. 2 guys on bikes come out of nowhere and take Diaz's money and ride off, but one dies, which leaves Tommy to chase the other guy. Once Tommy finally gets rid of him and gets the money back to Diaz, he says they lived because of Tommy and that he'll be seeing him again. Heading to Diaz's mansion, we can see that he doesn't handle losing very well. He praises Tommy for the good work he did protecting him and says he works for him now and wants Tommy to follow someone who took money from him and says he will deal with him later. Before Diaz tasks Tommy with another job, take a look at this.
What kind of incompetent fool are you? Fool! 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 Tommy!
What, Ricardo?
These idiots, they're always trying to screw you. That's the problem with this business. What do you think you're doing? These pricks have failed me miserably.
Diaz says the place we followed the guy to is a fortress from bottom to top, so he says Lance, or Quentin in his case, will be providing us air support. Quentin and Tommy talk, and Quentin seems convinced that Diaz was involved with the ambush deal at the start of the game. Tommy seems to agree and they both talk about taking him out, but Tommy wants to gain his trust first before pulling the trigger. Tommy rains hell from above with a chopper and then heads inside to retrieve the stolen money for Diaz. Going back to Cortez, he tells Tommy that Diaz wants to see him again and he's starting to think Diaz was behind the ambush deal. He's not accusing him though, he's just thinking out loud. Anyway, Cortez wants Tommy to go pick up a piece of military hardware being escorted through town because of a buyer he has for it. It's a goddamn tank. Heading over to Diaz, he talks about wanting to be the only one with the fastest boat, but learns there's a boatyard that's built a fast boat for some Costa Ricans and he wants that boat. So he tells Tommy to go and steal it, and then deliver it to Diaz. Going back to Diaz, there's always something new with this guy, I swear. After shooting his VCR because it wouldn't work because it wasn't plugged in, he tells Tommy there's a freelancer that comes in every month and moors his boat and sells his cargo to the first boat. Diaz wants to be that first boat. So Tommy races the other boats to that boat, gets the cargo, then fights off enemies trying to come after them. Meeting Ken Paul at the club, he tells us Lance has been kidnapped by Diaz's men after he tried to take down Diaz himself and has been taken across the city into a junkyard. So Tommy drives across town to the location, fights off Diaz's men and rescues Lance, then drives into the hospital before Tommy tells him to meet outside Diaz's mansion. Meeting Lance outside Diaz's mansion, he shows Tommy some beautiful assault rifles before they go and wreak havoc inside his mansion before Diaz himself comes out and Tommy takes care of him. Now that Tommy owns Diaz's mansion, it was time to intimidate some shop owners to start paying Tommy protection money instead of who they are already paying. So he heads to the North Point Mall and starts destroying their shops. Lance tells Tommy that a bar is refusing to pay because another gang is paying them, and take out the guards, and the owner comes out and says the guards work for a security company nearby. So Tommy and his two bodyguards go and take care of it, before two more guys on bikes come in and then they get taken care of. Tommy arrives at his mansion to find Lance and his bodyguard arguing over something he messed up on. He was supposed to blow up a shop, but messed up the fuses and now cops are all over the place. So Tommy comes up with the idea to disguise as cops and head to the shop and finish the job. The story takes a bit of a pause from this point to focus on the other businesses and asset missions, but once the required missions are done, Tommy receives a call from Ken saying that there's a situation over at the Printworks, which is one of Tommy's businesses, and to go check it out. Once he arrives there, he finds the owner of the business injured and mentions the Forellis and this happened.
Forelli? Sonny Forelli?
Yeah, that's the guy. I think they were very insistent.
I'm not angry with you. Get him to the hospital.
Tommy, rip that guy a new asshole for me.
I'm gonna rip him too!
So Tommy gets told to cap the collectors, which he does happily. He then receives a call from Lance to meet at the mansion. Upon arriving, he finds Ken and Lance inside, and Ken starts freaking out and talking about not wanting to sleep with the fishes. Then Lance says the boys from up north are coming down to pay Tommy a visit and get Sonny's money back. Sonny shows up and Tommy meets him with his money. Fake cash, of course. They both exchange words before this happens.
You know, Tommy, I did what I could for you. I pulled strings, called in favors. I was your friend, Tommy. I hoped you'd see sense, see what's good for business. I trusted you, Tommy, and you disappointed me. But at least someone in your chicken shit organization knows how to do business. Isn't that right, Lance?
Sorry, Tommy, this is Vice City. This is business.
With these numerous phone calls from Lance, it makes sense.
Tommy, we gotta talk about stuff.
What's the problem, Lance?
It's you, my friend. I feel you're not giving me a fair slice. And more than that, you've been embarrassing me in front of the boys. I can't have that.
Lance, it ain't like that. You've been making mistakes.
Tommy, I'm not your message boy. I'm not your running boy.
Lance, don't screw up and we won't have any problems. I screw up, you can lay into me anytime.
Tommy, I done everything for you. You treat me like a fool. Don't do that.
Lance, I won't rip you off or stab you in the back, okay? Just take it easy. This is tough enough without you getting all emotional on me. Trust me. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
I hear you, Tommy, but I can't take this much more.
Lance, don't be like this. Now I'm warning you. Do you hear me? Just relax. Take a few days off. Okay? I'll talk to you.
Tommy, it's me, Lance. Keep your mouth shut there, Tommy, because I ain't got no time to talk. I ain't interested in what you gotta say. Why should I be? You don't care about me, do you? You gotta look after me a bit better. Give me a spare slice, you know? Hey, Tommy, man, look, hey, I'm sorry. It's just that people patronize me all my life, treat me like a little kid. My brother would do that. Please, man, don't do that. I gotta go.
Lance reveals the true location of the money, and then Tommy has to defend the safe from the Mafia. After a bit of time, Lance shows up and they both have a final standoff before Lance runs off towards the helipad and Tommy gets rid of him once and for all. Now it's just Sonny left. Running back to the safe, Sonny shows up again and they have a final exchange before Tommy finishes off the Big Don once and for all. Coup de grace. Tommy and Ken then talk about the future of the business and them staying business partners. Now me personally, the storyline felt a bit rushed and I didn't realize some missions weren't part of the storyline until making this video, and so the story was kind of short and felt a bit anticlimactic, but besides all that, I enjoyed the game overall and had fun, so it wasn't all bad. Feel free to share your thoughts below and like and subscribe if you're new for more content like this, and I'll see you legends in the next one. Peace!